Hey guys, this is Jon
and Austin.
This is another episode of the Meatgistics podcast brought to you by Waltons. So we've got a couple of things to get to. We're going to throw a dart for Chippewa, who is our Meatgistics NCAA winner. In the post, I went through and looked at it because I saw a post from him yesterday that said, "Are you guys going to throw a dart for the multiplier?" And I'm like, I didn't think we said we would do that. So I was like, "Did you get your gift certificate?" And then I went back and looked and I said, "No, we did say we would throw a dart as a multiplier. However, we didn't say." I literally put X value. So what does it start at?
What was the original?
It was literally, we'll give you a gift card, X times dart multiplier. I literally wrote X. I didn't say a dollar amount. So with being a little gun shy from last month's
what did we do?
Debacle, here's my thought, is we make it $10 and no triples.
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Because,
So then if we hit 20, it's $200, which is a really good gift card, but it's not out of control. And everybody had a lot of fun for that $200.
Yeah. I'd probably also put a limit of saying like, hey, well, you get at least a $50 gift card. If we hit like one over and over and over, we're not going to give them a $10 gift card.
Right. Fair enough. Okay. So we're going to do that. Then I'm going to talk about the rendezvous. That's where we were up in Minneapolis. I don't know. If this was yesterday, I'd rant on it for 20 minutes, but I think I'll shorten it. The rendezvous itself was great. It was just some other things that went on. But before we get to any of that, I would like to discuss a problem, I would say, with the Team Blue and Team Orange.
A problem?
Yeah, I'd call it a pretty big problem.
This is huge.
Yeah, this is huge.
This is scandalous, really.
Oh, I don't
This is the
so.
biggest scandal to ever rock Meatgistics.
No.
Absolutely.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
What
no
do
idea.
you think we're talking
I have no idea because I have done nothing lately.
Oh, you've done that. Well, okay. So then that means this has been like this for years.
Lately.
No.
What do you think I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
What is the worst thing you've ever done?
The worst thing that I've ever done was when I first started sending out emails on like the Meatgistics stuff when people register is I strongly encourage joining Team Orange. I put Team Blue in there, but it was kind of like, if you want to, you can, but you should join Team Orange. Now it's kind of a even 50-50. Here's Team Orange, here's Team Blue. Do what you want.
This is many, many times worse than that.
No way.
Oh, yes.
I haven't done anything.
You can't leave Team Orange.
Well, that makes sense, though.
No, it doesn't. You can leave every other team, but you can't leave Team Orange.
Who would want to leave Team Orange?
No. For this, there will be a penalty.
No.
Oh, yes,
no,
there
no,
will.
No. I did not willfully put this in.
I don't believe that for even a quarter of it. There's not 1% of me believes that this was an accident.
I gotta look at this. I don't even.
You did this intentionally.
It's somewhat how do we find out? Did someone try to leave?
Oh, that's what it's concerned with.
No,
how somebody found out. Yes,
legitimately,
somebody tried to change.
Legitimately, I'm like, who would want to leave Team Orange? And so, did someone legitimately want to leave?
Yes, and they made a post about it, or they posted something in it. And I was like, that can't be true. So then I had other people test it, and nope, can't leave Team Orange. Can leave every other team.
You asked my members to leave. That's a line. I'm now going to go ask your members to leave.
You're not talking yourself out of this one. You coded some cheating into the background.
There's nothing I coded in for that.
Oh, of course there is, Austin. It's not just a random thing that Team Orange won't let you leave, but every other team will.
Have you looked into it yet to figure out how it does?
No, we wanted to surprise you with this.
I have not done.
Oh, what is that? Go back to our dashboard. Something dropped off a cliff.
Oh, guest page views. There's a I don't know, like a bot, Google bot, Bing bot. Somebody probably running a bunch of pages, and then boom, they're done. Because that was all. Well, I don't know. That started yesterday.
What's up
during the day?
Let me pause for a second. I want to make sure my levels aren't crazy. My computer resets, so the waves look bigger to me. So I just want to make sure I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to be over peaking like crazy.
Do you want us to wait or just keep going?
No, I want you to talk as loud as you think you're gonna talk.
Well, we're not going to be laughing and yelling at each other again. So
I know, but I need to test it with the volume lower. So
researchers have drawn a possible link between the death of 2 hunters in the last couple of years and the rare neurological condition. A report authored by medical experts from the University of Texas.
Okay, thank you. We're good now.
Cool.
All right. So the first 4 minutes might be a little louder, but we should be fine. All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so here's the deal. I got both groups up, and there is basically a little button that says disallow users from leaving the group. There's nothing I coded in. It's a built into the system. Okay. And
so from now on, it's at least 3 years of the exact opposite. At least 3 years, and maybe permanent that you can leave Team Orange and can't leave Team Blue anymore.
I think we should just leave them both on, because once you join a group, you're committed.
No,
it's a blood oath.
Absolutely not.
Okay, I'll switch it, because honestly, I don't think it makes a difference.
Okay.
At the end of the day.
Okay.
So now you can leave Team Orange and you can't leave Team Blue.
Sounds good.
But that's not.
No, I want people to be able to leave Team Blue too if they want. We're
fair. Now, crossing the line could be like disabled joining.
No, none of that.
That would be crossing the line.
All right. So on Monday, Brett and I and Patrick went up to the new construction site, and it's not going to have audio, but you can watch it because this doesn't have the audio. So
can you narrate it?
Yes. Brett got a chance to ride in a tractor initially, and they were grading some of the ground. And then at one point you'll see him spraying a bunch of water on it because it has to have a certain water content right there. All I saw was dollar signs coming out there. Now, Brett got to ride in it, and that seemed really fun to him. You should have seen the size of the smile on his face when he got to drive it. I think this might be the most fun Brett's ever had working at Walton's for the entire time. He was absolutely over the moon. It was really, really funny to see. But we're going to have probably a video like this where we go and film something or look at something every couple of weeks. And then at the end, we're going to have Austin has a camera out there that's recording pretty much constantly. We're going to take a couple frames from every, I don't know, couple hours and compile them into one insanely long video or whatever Patrick can do.
You guys are going to love me too.
Why would you do?
Oh, it's gotten so much more complicated.
Oh, awesome. Patrick, get back here. He's on the phone. He's trying to sell his house.
I have killed 3 cameras. Don't know why. They're outdoor cameras that I use for other things.
Yeah.
Never had an issue with one. And then actually looking at it, I've never really looked at what the raw footage is you get off of it. It's like every minute is a separate video. And so we're going to end up with thousands of files, hundreds of thousands of files.
Oh, this sounds fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's great.
But the good news is part of the good news is that because the cameras keep dying, I'm now on a camera that is reliable. It's a slightly different version of this similar thing, and it's been going good for 3 days. And so I'm like, okay, we're solid. But it is only set to record motion now.
Okay.
So we're not going to have as much to weed through. And when the camera's been dying before, I don't have all the footage because it's obviously been dying.
It's all
so
gone.
We're going to have less to sort through. But what we have to sort through is individual files instead of, which I assume we can take that and just put it in Premiere and say, make this one big file.
Yeah.
I could lay them out next to one. I could pick my favorites, lay it out, speed them up. It looks fine. So it looks cool.
Yeah. So it might, I don't know, it might help. It might be worse.
Might be worse.
Either which
That's
way.
a lot of files to deal with.
Yeah. Either which way, it's going to be kind of a gnarly project when it's all done because we're going to have hundreds of hours of footage to sort through and you can't watch all of it. So,
I mean, hundreds of hours is an incredible underestimate. It's going to be many thousands of hours.
But I don't know. We'll see. By the time all the footage that I don't have because the camera's been acting up and then now only tracking motion.
Yeah.
I bet the amount of hours will get cut to a very small fraction of what it was.
Okay, cool.
We'll see.
I'm down for
It's
that.
going to be cool though.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be interesting.
I've had some of the people over there because I keep going. I'm over there way too much because it's not working. So I'm fixing it. And a couple of them asking what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just recording stuff. They're like, what are you why? I'm like, well, we're going to try to stitch it all together in a fast deal to see from start to finish everything.
Right.
So then when people hear that, they're like, oh, it's cool. But it's kind of weird because there's a camera with a solar panel and stuff out there. It just looks weird.
There's got to be a part of them that's they're trying to film us and see what we're doing.
Oh,
There's got to be a portion, but whatever. All right. You want to throw a dart, I throw a dart, and then whoever's highest, we take that.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, you want to record that portion?
Yeah.
We'll let him get set up there.
Filibuster, I think.
Yeah, I got it. While he's getting that,
John has to talk for filler. I don't know if he can do this.
Never done it before. I had an idea yesterday we had a town hall meeting here as a company where Brett spoke, gave some updates from different departments, talked about what's going on with the company, talked about the new build, all of that. It was nice. It was a good thing to do. But they set him up on just a web camera and like everything was kind of blown out. It was just like the white, there's so much white. And I noticed it was like from a glare on his head and all his white hair. If we break a package number this year at some point, do you think instead of gift cards we can convince him to use a touch of gray? No,
there's
Darn
no
it.
way.
That'd be so much better than just a regular gift card. I'd way rather see Brett. We'd have to see the application and the final results. So.
To be honest, I don't. You would rather see that, but to be honest, I bet most people here would rather take $50.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Could it be in addition to?
Maybe if we beat
it,
it by a certain number or something.
which speaking of hair related things, you missed the first day. I started wearing the wig on Wednesday, and you weren't here.
Didn't.
And
no,
so
you didn't.
I wore it all day.
Absolutely not.
I did.
You did not. That is incorrect and a lie. We're gonna get to that. Okay,
so
we're ready.
It actually totally crossed my mind to do it, and then I realized that you weren't here, and I'm like, dang it.
That'd be a terrible thing.
But-
All right, you go first. I'll narrate your throw. Then you can narrate mine. So deal is no triples. 1 through 20, it starts at $10, and this is for Chippewa. He won the NCAA Meatgistics bracket. Austin is
There was no warm up involved in this.
that's her.
So.
Austin is addressing the board, and he has missed the board.
Come on.
Oh,
1.
Austin gets a 1.
Whew. I tell minimum of $50 gift card.
Okay. It would be sort of funny if I hit a 1 too. 5.
5, 10.
So he gets a 50.
50.
Okay.
Well, that was
That was
anticlimactic.
close to a 20. Sorry, Chippewa. Mine literally hit the metal in between the 20 and the 5.
Ricocheted back to
So
the
we'll
5.
get you a $50 gift card sent out to Chippewa. Congratulations. All right. Austin threw another one for some unknown reason, and he missed the board. Patrick has a dart in his leg. All right. Also, this isn't really an important thing, but we did have a video taken down. And I'm annoyed by this. I'm very annoyed by this.
How do you know it was taken down versus
We
like
didn't
on purpose versus accident?
Well, we didn't delete it. Why would we delete it?
I don't know. I'm just here to play devil's
It
advocate.
was a video where I sat back where Patrick is, and I screen recorded everything on a walkthrough on how to use Meatgistics. And it was up at one point.
last week, though.
No.
So
I was on the Meatgistics post. I click. It says the video is no longer available, and I click on it. And it says this video is not available. Oh, you okay?
Excuse me.
well, that means
Nope,
there was
but
a conspiracy.
Absolutely.
They took it down.
They don't want people knowing about Meatgistics.
Is there a way for us to see a history of anything?
Maybe, like how it. Not on that video though. But anyways, just
I don't know.
It's no big deal. It's just kind of funny. Okay. There's one other thing I want to talk about before I jumped into this, but I can't remember it, so we're just going to jump in. Oh no, that's what it is. We've got some dry cured salami up here. So this is our salami seasoning, where I added extra fresh cracked black pepper. I took whole black peppercorns, put them in a pestle, and just hit it a bunch. Put it in there. We used TSPX. We dropped so TSPX is a starter culture that's Staphylococcus, blah, 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 that gives it the aroma and some of the flavor. It basically goes after the lipids, the fat in the meat, and transforms it. Then there's another culture in there that's more based around trying to render the meat safe. But this is mostly done. It's not quite there yet. The casing on it is those dehydrated casings. Did I talk to you at all about these dehydrated casings? They were sent in as a sample from Europe. And
Are you not supposed to eat it?
Oh, you can. You can. It's a natural casing.
I mean,
It's a natural casing that instead of being salted or anything like that, it's actually just dehydrated. Dehydrated. It comes on a tube and it rehydrates in 3 minutes.
That's
in warm
fast.
water. It's really fast. And they worked really well. As far as taste goes, what do you think?
Taste is great. I love salami. Like, I wish, I don't know. To me, like when you start talking like smoked sausage type of things, we have all kinds of different flavors, but pepperoni and salami, just a good pepperoni and a good salami, trumps like everything else. Those flavor profiles are what I prefer.
Well, it's because we also, that's what we, it's what you're used to. Like, that's what it is, right? I liked the Willys we did, but I didn't think it was the best. I thought the pepperoni was far better than that Willys we did, if you remember that.
Yeah.
So sometimes less flavor is more. Oh, this doesn't want to see the... No, there it is. The flip display. Okay. All right, so feel free to eat on that throughout. Yeah, the casing, either peel it, eat it, doesn't matter. It's on there. All right. Last week, we realized we made a big mistake in not using this new tool behind us for what did everybody cook today. Oh, I already have it open. So I went back about 10 days. We're just going to go through and review some food, and it will be on the board behind us. So first, we've got Herb Cove Food. He made some chicken fried venison. Looks excellent. For some reason, he has, I don't think that's mashed potatoes. Is that the gravy? What you guys down here call gravy?
Mashed potatoes and white gravy.
White gravy. Yeah.
White gravy is like the gravy.
That's not accurate at all.
It's 10 times better than brown gravy.
I don't know what that. Yeah, we don't have white gravy in the north.
What's wrong?
Or the northeast, at least.
Oh my goodness.
Gravy is like beef gravy. So that I'd never even heard of that until I moved down to Texas.
You take like bacon grease and sausage grease and you turn that into gravy. Yeah.
Looks too
milk,
much like
that.
mashed potatoes for me.
No. Have you tasted a good white gravy?
I don't know if I've ever tasted a good white gravy.
Chicken fried steak before.
I still have not had chicken fried steak.
What?
We've been over this many
We're
times.
gonna make one. 'Cause we found out we're gonna use stuff.
Somebody asked, I got to talk about Rendezvous. Somebody asked Josh, he's like, do you have a, I think they said chicken fried steak maker. And he came and asked, he's like, do you know anything about, I think he asked Patrick. And finally, he's like, okay, can you describe it to me? And the guy's like, Josh goes, do you mean a tenderizer? He's like, are you talking about a tenderizer? I've never heard it called a chicken fried steak maker. But we'll go through the rest of this and I'll talk about Rendezvous. This is Grizz 1219. He smoked a venison shoulder for 2 hours in the crock pot and then put it in the crock pot. Came out amazing and it looks quite good. It looks like he used Cosmos Q something and then a few other things I'm unfamiliar with. Scrolling down through, we've got Bob who made some good looking chicken legs and quarters. Got to find a way to just get the pictures. All right. Then we got Papa Smokes makes some absolutely looks like a huge amount, but really good smoked pork butt. I like the
crisscross.
Yep. The attention to detail there. He also posted his smoke schedule, which is honestly quite helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Process Head was doing some seafood. He had some walleye and some crappie from an ice fishing trip, and he got it nice and deep fried.
Crappie,
whatever.
Crappie.
It's
You
regional.
brought up you didn't have gravy from New York, and so I'm always interested in like the things that we see as different because I'm like, is this a weird New Yorker thing?
So I
coming out
might
again?
say it. Maybe I say it wrong because the first time my brother-in-law caught one, I was like, oh, that's a huge crappie. And he like said it a few times. He's like, why is this a crappie fish? I was like, no. It's a crappie.
Nice.
Then we've got ND Mike just making some burgers on a traditional smoker, which too much effort for me. An Old Smoky making some ribs, and he's got some collard greens. Collard greens, out of all the cooked vegetables, would be the one that I would most likely to eat. I'm not a cooked vegetable guy at all.
I'd agree. I hadn't had collard greens until maybe a couple years ago.
Oh.
I just, my wife made them for me, and I was like, oh, okay, I'd actually eat this.
Venison tenderloin from Dave and AZ with brown butter sauce, parsnips, carrots, and zucchini. So going extra there with all the vegetables. Rick and AZ's making some nice ribs. We've got process head again, grilling lamb. It's got a lot of lamb going on there. And again, a beer in there. Interesting. It's almost like those two things go together. I mean, it does look really well cooked.
It does.
Yeah. Dave and AZ, then he's got some meat sticks. It's a Landjaeger solution. Only the picture of them on the grill, it doesn't look like he's got a finished one. And then a ravioli bake. It's basically a modified lasagna. And I think that was the last one. Yeah, that was the last one. Okay, Rendezvous. It was initially supposed to be at the fairgrounds in outside of Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that. I was very happy. But then like 2 months ahead of time, the fairgrounds reached out to backcountry hunters and anglers and said, we do not allow guns, knives, or bows on our premises. To a group called Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. You think maybe those are three things that they like?
Oh my goodness.
So Josh and Tiffany, who's a new employee up there, scrambled and then sent out the note that it was going to move to the convention center. And my heart just sunk because we've done events there in the past and I do not get along with the employees for whatever reason. So we get there, immediately have some problems with security trying to get in. They don't want to let us in. The dockmaster says, no, you're too early. Like I wanted to be done, set up, and on our way back, doing other things we need to do. So we start blah, 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 arguing with them. I get there. I find the next day. Okay, sorry. We go to this wild game dinner, which is, I've gone all 3 years. Every year it's amazing food. No slouch this time. They actually had their own beer made. It was a maple, Patrick, it was maple what? Do you remember?
I don't remember a lot from that night, but no, the maple, it was like a
maple brown and it was delicious. Yeah. Absolutely delicious.
They didn't call it a porter or a stout even, which is fair because it was smooth. Wasn't. It was very smooth, but it was amber. It wasn't an amber ale. It was something else. But
it was really, really good.
Yeah.
So anyways, have that. Everything is amazing there. Get to the place the next day, find Josh. I'm like, hey, I'm doing, 2 demonstrations. Where are my pork butts? And he's like, oh no. So we don't have pork butts. It's like, okay, it's early enough. No worries. I'm like, I'll find a butcher shop, go get some. I go walk all the way back to the hotel, hit the button to open the car doors. And I see the lights go, but I don't hear the knock, knock or the, and I'm like, oh great, battery's dead. So I take the key out of the key fob, open it manually, go to turn it on. It doesn't even think about turning on. It's not like maybe I will, maybe I won't. And I'm just not doing it. So I'm like, fine. I walk down to Target where they have some pork roasts. I buy a bunch of those and walk all the way back to the convention center. I look down at my hands at one point and all of my fingertips are white because I'm holding all the bags, and it's just cutting off all the circulation to my fingertips. So I get there, do the demonstration. Demonstration goes great. Have lots of good conversations with people who either have heard of us, haven't heard of us, whatever. And I'm cleaning up and I'm looking at this 3-sink system. And I realize there's no food.
No garbage disposal.
Garbage disposal. Thank you. So I'm like, all right, make sure you get all the meat out of your stuff first and put that little drain in. So I do that. No, clogged it. 100% clogged it. So have to find somebody after like 30 minutes trying to fix it. I find somebody from BHA, Tiffany, and she's like, oh, don't worry about that. We'll have somebody do it. Don't worry. So, okay, great, good. Give the snack sticks I made to somebody in the audience who's local and can smoke it the next day. Next day, come back in. First thing I start looking for, like everything I need for my demonstration that day. I don't know what happened, but I had leftover snack sticks plus an extra package, like the casings, gone. Literally nowhere. So the most reasonable thing we can come up with is they got knocked off and someone just swept them up as garbage. My more conspiratorial mind thinks the employees were angry with some of the words we had and they came and stole them. I think that's more reasonable. Anyways, so that's fine. We go, we do it. As this is all happening, you and I are communicating back and forth about the truck. We try jumping it. That doesn't work at all. Josh and I are trying everything out there for about a half hour the night before. Nothing works. So we're like, all right, we're going to have it towed. We're going to have to find a place that works on the weekends, and we're going to have it towed. So we find a place, call them, tell them where we are, and they go, yeah, we can't get you. Like, what do you mean? I said, well, you're in their parking garage. The clearance is too low there to get through. So you're gonna have to call, somebody with a low truck, give us a number. And they're like, these guys are like an hour away. Like, this is not gonna be good. So we push it down 6 stories.
Are you serious?
6 stories of parking garage and then up into their loading bay. Right. So it is, at this point, though, we're all kind of laughing, right? It's like, just what else could go wrong? So next day, they call me first thing in the morning. They come and get it. They call me the first thing in the morning. And they're like, all right, we want to run diagnostics on it. I said, yep, that's fine. They call me back like an hour and a half later. They're like, you have something really weird going on here. Like this and this shouldn't be working. Like if one of these is out, the other one should be out. So like, we're going to keep trying to work on it. So go on. I do my second demonstration with no snack stick casings, just shooting it out into a lug because there's nothing else I can do. And they call back. They're like, okay, we found what it is. It's the connections underneath the fuse box, something or other. It's a, what do you call it? It's an aftermarket part that's in here and it's just the connections aren't right. Great. Okay. What's it going to be? $3,400, which is like, wow. But the real kicker was it's going to take 5 to 7 days for us to get that part in. So you and I were talking and figured out we were just going to have it shipped back. We just needed someone to be the key holder to pass the key to the shipping company. So I called him back and he's like, ooh, that's going to be expensive. He's like, first of all, yeah, we'll do that for you. No problem. Don't worry about it. He's like, but that's going to be expensive. I'm like, yeah, well, we know, but it's
cheaper than the $3,500.
Right. It's like, but it's what we have to do.
We've done in the past. It's $500.
Right.
So it's, not a big deal.
So he's like, but why don't you just drive it back? And this has happened to me a few times where like the problem gets talked past so much and like what the actual issue is doesn't get communicated effectively. So for a second I started getting mad and I was like, nope, calm down. Like just take a deep breath. I was like, okay. I'm like, and I intentionally, as I said it, I was like, do not make this sound sarcastic. I was like, I'd love to drive it back. I'm like, just the problem is the car won't start. And he's like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I got this started like 2 hours ago. He's like, it starts every time now. And my blood pressure went through the roof. And he goes, wait, did nobody call you and tell you that? I was like, nope, nobody called. But I was like, whatever, who cares? I was outside with Ron Boehm from the Hunting Dog podcast. And I just like started yelling. I was like, that's awesome though. That's great. Well, yes, we'll 100% drive it back. So I looked for an Uber. It would take an Uber longer to get to me than it would take for me to walk the 35 minutes to this place. So I go walking through downtown Minneapolis, get our car, come back, try to come into the back, and so that we can break down and get out. Security didn't like that. So
why not?
So I just go, okay, whatever, park the car and just try to walk through that area. This lady came at me with such an attitude where I'm normally not a terribly confrontational. No, something snapped in me. So eventually I remove myself from that situation and I start seeing other people like pushing things back into the back where they're clearly going to load their truck. We go back there. People are loading up the truck. Josh goes to try to get our truck in there. They close the gate right before him. Then he finds another way in, hits these buttons. They let another truck in, but won't let him in. And then say, you can come back at 6 a.m. tomorrow. We meet somebody that night who's like, no, it's 7 a.m. tomorrow. So we're like, okay, we want to be here at 7. We get there at 7. The guy's like, no, you can't get into 8. And I'm just like,
why did they not let you in the day before? If they were letting other people in.
Oh, I can't just let you in just quite yet. Oh, yeah.
That guy was at least okay.
No.
The guy from the morning of was at least okay. The lady from the night before. Like, so After the last night or the last day, you know, they have their like kind of presentation stuff there, and then there was an open bar, or not open bar, but there was a party at the hotel lobby, right? So we're all there. I made it a point to go find Mills and find Tiffany, be like, never here again. And when I said that to Tiffany, like 4 other exhibitors turned around. They're like, don't, like 100% what he says. We do not want to come back here. It is such a nightmare trying to have a successful event when the employees are literally kicking everybody in the shins. When we first showed up, I wanted to use a cart. The lady's like, no, those are union carts only.
Oh yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't do anything like that. If it's a material or a piece of property, or if it's just shipping something in or out, but physical access, you should be able to get your truck in there. You just can't use or touch anything of theirs because it's all union. It's all very heavily regulated.
They wouldn't let us back our truck up in there either, even though they let other people do it.
Yeah, that's bad.
I was so mad, man.
It wasn't like a shipping company that was in there. It was like people.
Yep.
Okay, because usually they'll have contracts with shipping companies that only they can get in. But if they're letting other people, 99 times out of 100, they will let you in. But
they let Ron back his trailer, his whole truck, everything right in there, but not us. So weird. Anyways, we also won an award, Exhibitor of the Year or Partner of the Year.
The Larry Fisher Award.
The Larry Fisher Award. So we go to this award ceremony. Everybody else is reading, and you know, Mills told them that I had to be there. So I'm like, obviously, you know, we all know what that's about. But everybody else is reading off prepared statements, and I'm not supposed to even know. So I'm like, okay, he doesn't want me to talk. Fine, no problem. So I go up to accept the award, and I'm standing down off the stage, and Mills is like 6'7". I don't know how big he is. He's huge.
No,
6'5".
6'5". Yeah.
I don't know. There's a picture I'll show you.
6'4", 5"
of me and him next to each other. It literally looks like Mutt and Jeff.
He's a big ridiculous. Dude. He's a big dude.
So he just reaches. He shakes my hand. He grabs me and just pulls me up on the stage. He's like, "No, you have to talk." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went through and gave the whole spiel, and I think it came off really well. Patrick recorded it all. But yeah, so we made it home.
Did Sunday. You have a smile on your face?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, like the event itself was great. We had awesome conversations with lots of people. Like we've said it before when we go to these BHA events. It is so rare to talk to somebody at one of these events that does not do their own processing. Almost all of them do, which is exactly what we want. And do you remember the first year where we went? Where I don't know if we talked to more than maybe one person who had any idea who we were. I would say somewhere between 40 and 50% of people were either like, yeah, I know you guys, or no, I've heard of you. I just didn't know what you were.
Yeah. I think, we spent 3 years in the organization and we do what we do. We also, to be honest, I don't know. I would assume that part of the award we got is probably, could be wrong, but feedback from the local Kansas group, because we do a lot with the local Kansas group. They want something and I say, okay, here you go. Because it's the guys that run the local Kansas group, they're just a great group of guys.
They are.
2, they do exactly and fit into our mold perfectly. And it's hard when they're the boots on the ground doing things. It's hard to not support someone like that because it just furthers our business. And so we spend a lot of money with the local group. We spend a lot more money with the national group, right. And we do a lot to help them because it's just, they are a great organization.
Yep.
But you have that involvement and people start to recognize you over time. They get familiar with it. So that's what it's supposed to do, though.
It was very successful. I was very happy with it. All right. The number one food to limit to reduce your risk of dementia. What do you think it is?
Ooh, it's sugar.
Okay.
I've been,
You've been looking at that?
This train lately.
Okay. But yes,
it's bad for you.
Sugar turns out sugar is bad for you. Who could have seen that one?
I thought you said the food that reduces dementia the most.
No.
I'm like, come on, get out of town. I'm risk. Sharper than a tack, dude.
All right. USDA warns consumers about E. coli in some ground beef products. We won't go over this too much, but cooking your meat properly kills E. coli. It might not taste as good, but just cook your meat properly.
Sounds like a gorgeous name.
E. coli?
E. coli.
The biggest thing, if you don't want to cook up to temperature, we've cooked at home burgers several times in the past week, partially because we realized that we've almost eaten through the beef that we got.
That was fast.
We eat a lot. There's 4 of us eating. 2 of them are they're quarter portions,
right?
But still, we've almost ate through all of it. But we hardly touched the burgers we had made. So now we just have a lot of burgers. That's what's left, is a lot of burgers. But we've been cooking them lately, and I don't want to wait till 160. I don't. It also, it's more cooked, it's dried out. Once it gets to 145, I start a timer, and I go in 3-4 minutes. I don't care what the temp is. I'm taking them off. And then they're juicier. They're better. So, you don't cook it to a time and temperature. Is that thunder?
That did sound like thunder.
I would love rain. We need rain so bad.
That was severe thunder if that was thunder.
I would.
But what else? I mean, shook and then rolled. Or we're under attack.
When you hear a noise like that, do you go, "Where's my gun?"
No. Heavy thunderstorm starting in 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So they're here.
All right, grab your weapons, everybody.
Sweet. Oh, that's a nice. That's yeah.
We could use the rain.
Darn, we might split the defense a little bit on that, but any rain we can get. So the video we showed earlier of the new land and the water truck, they were driving that water truck for days out there.
I saw was dollars. Yeah, coming out of the back of that.
I don't know how that works because
that was water.
Yeah, that's Bel Air water.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but they're getting it out of the fire hydrant,
right?
So they either, they're not metering it. So they either, Bel Air was like, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Or they're like, hey, you need to pay us $5,000 to access it.
They had it. They have a deal for that. You can talk about that. They did have a deal for it.
Okay. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, neither do I. But yep, you can hear it raining.
It'll be wonderful. I talked
if I didn't have that innovation board, so I have an innovation board meeting with Big Commerce this afternoon. So I think I told you I'm on their innovation board now. If I didn't have that, I swear I would take the second half of this day off and just go home and sleep. I am dead. I got really good sleep Monday night. I slept terribly Sunday night, really good sleep Monday night and Tuesday night. And I thought I was recovered and I could go do things again. So I tried that last night. I am dead on my feet immediately again. So I'm sorry. I cut you off.
I don't remember where we were. We got sidetracked.
Let's just move on. We'll get back to meat matters. 2 hunters have died of prion disease from eating contaminated deer meat, researchers say. Researchers have drawn a possible link. So first of all, I thought he was throwing that at us. We both thought you threw that at us.
I flinched.
So did I.
I was just throwing up a Kleenex.
I saw it coming out of the corner of my eye, and it looked like it was coming this way.
Leaned back, just did a little toss. So your peripherals made it assume that it was
that it was coming at me.
Attention to it. Interesting.
All right. So interesting immediately that the first line in the article says possible, but there's nothing about possibility. It's very definitive in the headline. So, anyways. Researchers have drawn a possible link between the deaths of 2 hunters in the last couple of years from a rare neurological condition. A report authored by medical experts from the University of Texas at San Antonio and published earlier this month in the clinical journal Neurology suggests the men contracted it by consuming venison from deer infected with chronic wasting disease, a degenerative illness not conclusively shown to be transmissible from animals to humans. Both men hunted at the same lodge and consumed meat from the same deer population before each developed Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease and died soon after, the report said. They did not give the lodge's specific location, kind of feel like they should. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is one of several prion diseases, uncommon neurodegenerative disorders affecting humans that are characterized by an abnormal folding of proteins in the brain. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Symptoms broadly mimic those of dementia, although patients afflicted with Creutzfeldt-Jacob's disease deteriorate much more quickly, within weeks. Within weeks of getting it, you are, I guess the first sign is confusion and then extreme aggression. And then, your brain's just nope, we're done. Scary stuff, man.
Just weird. Can you kill it inside of meat by cooking, or is it you eat the meat and you get it?
Well, so all of it lives in the spinal column and the brain. So,
so you gotta eat.
If you're in a area known to have it, I would say definitely don't eat the neck meat. Definitely don't make any bone broth out of anything. And you should still be fine.
Okay.
And this is 2 people over the last couple of years.
Yeah, but I'd also hate to be a statistic, so I would still be careful.
Yeah, your chances are worse at getting this than they are at winning the lottery, but this is far more likely to happen to me than winning the lottery.
If you just have to stay away from the brain and the spinal column, like, hey, I'm good with that. I'm not gonna get near that anyways.
Yep.
So unless you do, FYI, you ever try to bring like deer brain in here for like
we're not
Will barbecue? I ain't touching that.
No, we're not doing that. All right, researchers zero in on liver absences on beef on dairy. We're not going to talk about this much, so don't worry about it. Is interesting though. More and more, I'm seeing pushes for beef on dairy. It's like beef on dairy could be the answer to farmers, blah, blah, blah. But also these liver abscesses that are showing up are a major problem for them. They are losing huge portions of carcasses to this. So something to keep an eye on. Prosecutors opened first of its kind investigation into company for allegedly deceiving farmers with livestock killing fertilizer alternative. It's devastating and terrifying. So this is a little bit, scandalous is the wrong word. Concerning / I'm not sure it's actually what's going on. This is really the only article I found on it. But Texas County has initiated a first of its kind criminal investigation into the waste management giant Sinagro. The investigation focuses on the sale of sewage sludge filled with PFAS, which I think are forever chemicals, to Texas farmers who were told it was a cheap replacement for regular fertilizer. 2 small ranches have become focal points in federal lawsuit against Sinagro. Yeah, Sinagro makes more sense. Allegations against companies suggest that knowingly distributed contaminated sludge, leading to devastating consequences. The sludge application on nearby fields reportedly caused illness among farmers, livestock fatalities, water pollution, and even contaminated beef entering the consumer market. But I get it. It seems logical that would be the cause of that, but we don't know that. Right? This is just an investigation. Obviously, we have no ties to Sinagro. I don't even know how to say the name, but it just seems like, well, I wish I could find the word I was looking for. Sensationalist? Whoa. Nice. Seems a little almost sensationalist to be reporting on it at this point, right? Like they just opened an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did do it, I hope they are penalized to the extreme. Consumer Reports, high lead and sodium in Lunchables. That's not funny.
Oh, no.
That's not funny.
Yeah.
But I remember being a kid and people would like trade for Lunchables. Like, I'll give you my Doritos for your Lunchables. I always hated Lunchables. So I don't care.
I always saw it as like, that was the thing I didn't have and I wanted it.
Okay.
And so it didn't matter what it tasted like. It was just, that was a treat because we never got it.
I think the one thing I always wanted in Lunchables was like there were those crackers with the spread cheese.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That's what I always wanted for people's Lunchables. Like, I'll take those.
As a fat kid, one Lunchable did not do it. So
you need multiple Lunchables.
You're sitting there going like, all right, double and then they try to get like an XL or something like that. And it's like slightly bigger drink and like one more nugget. I go, you're not tricking me, buddy. I need more. So,
all right. Plant-based meat boomed. Here comes the bus. This is from Wired. A new report on sales of vegan meat, dairy, and seafood suggests that the enthusiasm for plant-based products might be slowing down. An annual report from the Good Food Institute, an alternative protein nonprofit, found that dollar sales of plant-based meat and seafood in the U.S. fell by 13% over the past 2 years. As prices of meat alternatives have gone up, this masks a much greater drop in unit sales over the same period of time. They fell by 26% from 2021 to 2023. So down over a quarter in volume sales. That's crazy.
I've definitely I should have taken a picture of it. I've started to see some different things out there. I was at Target the other day and just kind of killing time. And so I got nothing to do. I walk through like the meat aisle. If I'm Target, Dillon's, you name it, wherever, I walk through and look at everything, even though I'm not buying anything. I'm just looking. And they had some weird like plant-based burger things going on. It looked
like ones you hadn't seen before.
Yeah, ones I hadn't seen before, and they looked gross.
Yeah.
I was like, I wouldn't touch that with 10-foot pole. I actually technically did. I reached up to touch it, and I was like, I can't do this again. But I'm glad that it's not continuing to grow and not going. I don't think it's a threat for the meat industry at all. I think people are smart enough and they catch on that, hey, this is, maybe it's for some people, but for most people, it's not a mainstream thing.
Well, it's got to win in.
Did you see
Did the lights flicker?
Yeah. Might lose it all, baby.
It's got to offer an advantage in either price, taste, or something. And right now it offers an advantage in none of those. Even the environmental one is very debatable which one is worse for the environment. So horse meat found in West Palm Beach home. Just wanted to point out that apparently owning horse meat in Florida is a felony.
Huh.
That seems a little extreme. Barron County High School begins adding a new meat processing facility. It's from Western Kentucky. We won't really talk about it. I just think it's really cool that more and more we're seeing meat processing reaching younger and younger people.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Oklahoma Penn State University has that outreach program that we sponsor. There are things like this popping up all over the country, so it's a good thing. Heart healthy diet, plant-based meat analogs no better than meat. So it's a very long study. I gave up on reading it because it was just ridiculous. But PBMA, which is something meat alternatives diet, did not show widespread cardiometabolic health benefits compared with an omnivorous diet over 8 weeks. The composition of PBMAs may need to be considered in future trials. So just that's not any better for at least your heart. American values. Rural town fights for survival after factory closure leaves a third of its residents unemployed. So we've talked about this in the past. This was the Tyson company pulling out of Knoll, Missouri. The people here are resilient, Mayor Terry Lance told Fox News Digital. I think a lot of the time you become resilient as you have to be. And I'm not sure that's unique to a small town in America. I feel like I see more energy as far as people wanting or what direction they want the town to go in, at least what I believe is the right direction. The town had 2,000 residents and 650 of them worked at that Tyson plant.
It's rough.
Yikes. Governor DeWine approves $14 million in meat processing funding. This is from Ohio. Applications are good until June 3rd. $500,000 is the max for an individual grant, but there's $14 million available. Ham recall in 8 states as warnings issued. It was 85,000 pounds of prosciutto.
Oh, it's so disappointing.
And do you want to know why it's being recalled?
Oh, can we still eat it? And it's a stupid thing like labeling? Oh, my gosh. I hate those.
Lack of inspection once it got to the United States. Like inspected over there, came here, didn't get inspected a second time.
Can we just test it and see if it's okay? That's
I will
a lot
take
of
it.
prosciutto.
I will take all of that.
Yeah.
I would be so happy.
It's horrible.
Actually, I'd probably... I guess death by prosciutto poisoning has got to be possible in some way, shape, or form. And I would definitely do that.
Oh, you know what I think happened over here? I think Jonathan is signed in.
Is that why it's all weird?
That's what's going on.
Okay. Properly prepared beef remains safe. Meat Institute calls for guidance to protect workers at beef facilities. The article, like the title just seemed odd to me. Like someone saying, like, no, trust us. We're not going to rob your house when you leave. Well, now I think you're going to rob my house when I leave. All right, but nothing to talk about there. Wild card. Look at this murder cow. Can you see it up there? They blacked out a cow and gave it glowing eyes. The article is, there's no such thing as a benign beef farm. So beware the eco-friendly new film straight out of a storybook. Just ridiculous article. Boy 16 holds up great white shark he caught, then gets bitten. First of all,
he held up the shark.
It was a very small shark. But he caught the shark, held it up, and it like swung and grabbed his leg. Yeah, his dad then put his hands in the shark's mouth and opened it, and they like threw it overboard.
So many bad decisions there.
And
1, you were out looking for great whites.
Not smart.
2, you picked it up. 3, you thought you should continue to hold it after you picked it up.
No, that thing needs to be immediately just cut the line. As soon as you see it's a great white, just cut the line.
Or if you're bringing it in, you cut its head off like immediately.
You're not. You do definitely not allowed to do that.
Well,
You're going to jail for that.
Then don't bring it in the boat. But once it's in there, I mean, that's a bigger predator. In my opinion, that's a bigger predator than we are. The thing's going to kill us. It's kill or be killed situation. Don't bring it in the boat.
It was coming right for us. Even in Mexico, there was they found a beheaded great white shark that was like 18 feet long on the beach. And even Mexico launched some huge investigation to find who did it. Like, great whites are, for some reason, really protected.
It's amazing what people will do to protect animals, and they don't protect people the same way.
Right.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Red Lobster eyes bankruptcy. Do you have any idea why? Don't look. What? Red Lobster eyes bankruptcy because people are eating too much endless shrimp.
No, why don't you just stop
it? Right?
Are you kidding me?
They lost $11 million just in endless shrimp. Just in endless shrimp. So
you're an idiot. If you're declaring bankruptcy because of that, you should have stopped a long time ago. Multiple people have failed at their job if they did not stop that promo, and they're going bankrupt because of it.
Only thing we can think of is like they tried stopping it at some point and just nobody, like everybody stopped coming, period. They're like, well, we're losing more money this way than the other way. I don't know. That
charge more for it then.
Tourist mauled after rolling down window for a bear selfie.
Yeah, people are just brilliant.
I feel bad saying this, but I do not feel bad for that person.
Sometimes people have to use a brain. Like wild animals. Did we miss the key word there? Like wild.
Mm-hmm. Can Pennsylvania's record muskie ever be beaten? I just wanted to show the size of this thing.
It's a big old boy. I assume that's not like a small man. I assume that's a normal 6 foot tall person.
It's the muskie, I think, measured like 59 inches, 58 inches, something like that. But it is absolutely enormous. And let's be honest, kind of scary, right? Like, that's kind of scary fish. I wouldn't be it's 59 inches long and weighed 54 pounds. I wouldn't be enthused to see that in the water, like coming right at me. And then finally, last one we got is loose horses gallop through London causing injuries.
How did they get loose?
They're military horses. I think they were part of a parade and something spooked them and they went charging.
I found a cool link. I couldn't sign in over here, so I had Chase email it to you really quick. I think it'd be cool if you wrapped up with it.
While you're doing that, I got another one. In Wichita at Central and Greenwich, there has been a turkey that has been terrorizing people.
What?
Yeah, made the local news. But that's right over by the church and school that I go to. And my wife was picking up my son last week sometime. I can't believe I didn't think of this and put this in the notes. But the turkey, the church I go to is right there by Central and Greenwich. And the turkey was over there. It was following people around in the parking lot, and turkeys.
Oh yeah.
They could hurt you. But my son thought it was cool. He's talking about it, and right as he left, his teacher was also leaving, and the turkey excavated its bowels and it did it right next to where the teacher gets in the car, and my son's like, Miss So-and-so, the turkey pooped by your car. And then the turkey proceeded to follow, like as my wife was like driving out, it kept following him. But I don't know what makes turkeys like
they're mean.
No, like
aggressive.
Yeah, but like
aggressive.
Usually you don't find like one. There's like there's a whole mess of them, and they kind of stick together.
Yeah, they're flock animals.
Yeah, but like, there's just this one turkey that's just being a mean SOB.
It's a velociraptor.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically mini dinosaurs, right? All right, Patrick, you want me to play this up here?
Yeah, that'd be
okay.
Cool.
So I'm going to play them from both so that we have audio.
Oh, that'd be neat.
1, 2, 3, go.
We'll see if that's how the internet works.
That's pretty close. It's going to be a little bit behind.
That's fine. This is just the cool dinner we went to. Oh, yeah.
Wait, does that work?
No, there's no way
No.
because that thing
Okay.
doesn't have speakers. Dude, some of the best food. I was trying to think of the menu.
There's your wild turkey.
But I found that instead. I was like, that's a little cool.
Yeah, that wild game dinner is really amazing.
I'm trying to think. I remember the first dish. It was like a duck, something prosciutto, if not like smoked, just thinly cut, placed on a little baguette with goat cheese, and then it was like
Well, that
pickles.
was goose pastrami.
You could have told me it was anything.
That was an appetizer.
That was fantastic.
Then we had a tamale.
Wrapped in something.
Yep, it was upstairs. We had a tamale. Then we had
I love
was it salmon?
your recollection.
Was it wild caught salmon?
We had fish.
Yes, one of them was fish for sure. And I don't remember what the third one was, but they were all amazing. It's the type of thing where like you take everything that's on the plate and try and get all the sauce up.
Yeah.
Like it was just
All the 7 seconds and 2 bites it takes for each.
yeah, I mean,
Great flavors. And apparently there was cake too.
still so mad about that.
So mad about it.
We met a guy the next day and he's like, yeah, I was one of the chefs last night. We're like, oh, the food was
what'd you
amazing. Which
make?
one did you
Yeah.
make? And he's like, oh, the cake. We're like,
I think we went to different events is what I said.
cake. We're like, we didn't have any cake. He's like, yeah, it was dessert. We're like,
You're kidding.
dessert? We didn't get any dessert. We went outside and they had these burning, they had fire pits. So we pulled up a bunch of chairs and we're sitting around it like as everyone else is having dessert. We didn't know there was dessert.
That's
Yeah,
We're upset
bummer.
about that.
So send us some cake.
Yes, we are owed cake.
I don't have a way to put this up on screen right now, but
Oh, there it is.
That's the mean turkey. It's not even a male. It's a female turkey. Pretty sure. There's no
beard.
Yeah. It's not.
And it doesn't look like it's got talons. Huh.
You can't tell anymore just by a beard and talons. So
All right, you got anything else?
Nope.
Chippewa will get your $50 gift card. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
thanks for checking out the Meatgistics podcast. To shop everything but the meat, head on over to waltons.com. To get your meat processing questions answered by experts and enthusiasts alike, head on over to our online community at meatgistics.com. Waltons, everything but the meat.